and welcome. My name is Chris from ChristopherHole.com. Welcome to this video where we're going to be talking about osteoarthritis of the knee, exercise recommendations. So in my last video, I talked about sort of what it was, how it sort of presents itself, what possibly are some of its symptoms. Now we're going to look at what we can do and what we shouldn't really be doing if you've got osteoarthritis, because exercise is a really good remedy for it. It will reduce pain. It can keep the joint as healthy as possible for as long as possible. But there are some things that we need to think about that we should be doing, and some things that we want to avoid and that we shouldn't be doing. So to start off with, the things we should be doing if we're doing exercise with osteoarthritis of the knee is certainly low impact in the initial phase, but in all fairness, you aren't going to go that much impact. You're not going to be jumping on and off steps or anything like that, but certainly stepping up onto benches and blocks with weight, that's obviously going to increase impact. That might be saved for later on. So you may just start off body weight and then progress onto sort of weighted exercise, if that makes sense, because that will obviously increase the impact. Low repetitions of affected joint. So what we don't want to be doing is a lot of repetitions on that one joint. We understand that you're going to be moving throughout the day, possibly walking upstairs, walking for buses, walking to shops, things like that. So it's going to get used. So when we're looking to condition the joint and certainly the muscles around the joint, we want to keep it as efficient as possible, and we don't want to overuse it. So we've got to try and sort of optimize, not do too much, not do too little, but just sort of get it right so we can keep the muscles around that joint conditioned, so they can obviously preserve the joint for as long as possible. We want to obviously avoid exercises that cause pain, so we want to be doing the exercises in a way that if we cause any pain, we obviously either stop doing the exercise or we just limit the range of movement by which we do those exercises. Also, exercising in the late morning or early afternoon. As I mentioned in my last video, I was talking about how the joint is possibly a lot stiffer in the morning as soon as you wake up. That's very similar with regards to low back pain. So when we're doing exercise, we might want to do it in the late morning, early afternoon, when the joint is lubricated a little bit more, it's a little bit more warmed up, so on and so forth. Some things to avoid. Now, they aren't to avoid completely, but things like excessive time on one leg, certainly on the affected knee. The joint won't be as stable, so you might find an inability to do it to start with, which is obviously a reason not to do it. But certainly excessive time on one leg, because we don't want to be challenging the joint in a way that is going to make it worse. We may spend a little bit of time on one leg, but obviously it doesn't want to be excessive. Again, it's trying to find that happy medium, that optimal, not too much, not too little type of area. And if you listen to your body, you'll be able to do that. Spending excessive time down on one knee. So if you're doing any exercises that require you to be on one knee, don't be down there for a long amount of time. Doesn't mean that you can't do it, but you just don't want to be on that bad knee for a sort of a long period of time. So again, it's just to monitor that, be aware of it, but don't avoid it, as it were. To avoid excessive time on all fours. So you may find certain yoga poses, you may find certain Pilates poses that you're doing where you're spending a lot of time. Again, if that affects the knee, just try to avoid them. Let the instructor know that that you do have osteoarthritis of the knee, and you don't want to put too much pressure on it. If it's causing you pain, they should immediately just say yes, that's fine, and maybe give you an adaptation of the exercise or just allow you to do a shorter time frame. Okay, great. So that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully it's been helpful for you. Again, my social media up at the top here. Come and find me. If you want to ask me any questions, just ask me through those. It'll be great to speak to you. So many thanks. My name is Chris from ChristopherHole.com. I'll speak to you in a future video.